Business with FWHS. We'd like to thank everybody for joining in. Um, we definitely appreciate your attendance. We have a dynamic program for you today. I will introduce the speakers, and going forward, if you have any questions, put for you have a chat box in the Q&A. Put those in there, and we get to those in the presentation as well. Okay, after each speaker presents, if you have questions, put that in there. But before we get started, I'd like to thank our president, Mary Margaret Lemons. We also have on the call our participation and their push for us to do Section 3 for this community. As you guys know, we have received the CNI grant for the Stop 6 area, which is a great accomplishment for our agency. So without further ado, on the front side, I would like to introduce our board chairman to have a few words to speak on.
Thank you very much, Kelvin, and good morning to all of you on the call. Just want to thank you for taking time out of your day for this very important piece of information. What we do at Fort Worth Housing Solutions is extremely important to our community, and because of that, doing business with us is very important. And one of the board's main initiatives is to be sure that we follow what we can do through Section 3 in order to put more people to work. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you for being interested and a stakeholder in what we do. All of the things that you do with us, along with our staff and HUD, helps us to be better, a better Fort Worth. So thank you again. Thanks, Kelvin.
Thank you, Zadaway. Thank you for your presentation. Okay, next slide. When we get started, what we'll do now, we'll introduce, you see the agenda. My name is Kelvin Noble, Director of Procurement for Housing Solutions. I will go through each presenter and do their bio first, and then we'll start the program after that. Again, we're gonna do a pause so you can have time if you have any questions after they present. If you have any questions, we have a chat box and we'll let them present, and you have questions for them, you can do so during that time. The first presenter we have, I'll introduce him. Mr. Cal Quigley. Mr. Cal Quigley is a native of Stop 6 area and also an Air Force veteran. Currently, he's a professor of global business and ethics at TCU. He's a true lifelong learner. He is completing his doctoral degree at the University of North Texas in education with a concentration in community college leadership. His research focuses on entrepreneur finance, innovation, fintech, real estate, and international business development. His research, Mr. Quigley earned his Executive Master's of Business Administration from the Neely School of Business at Texas Christian University, TCU, and his Bachelor of Information Technology from National Louis University. He is a recipient of the Community Champions Award for work done to enrich youth in Fort Worth area, Castleberry area, and the Keller Independent School Districts. That's our first speaker, Mr. Cal Quigley. Our next presenter will be another Fort Worth native, Ms. Kristen Gies. She's a founder and practitioner of Advising Generation Z. She's a freelance reporter, brand ambassador for women that soar training into training consulting. She's a TechDX speaker, author, and founder, again, of Advising Generation Z, which is a nonprofit mentoring program focused on equipping generational Z, and millennials with leadership opportunities in Texas, Louisiana, and Oklahoma. She holds a BS in ethical leadership and a master's in leadership and development, and currently pursuing her PhD in strategic leadership. Again, Kristen attended Northwest ISD and graduated from Northwest High School. She's also a nationally recognized speaker signed with American Speakers Bureau, facilitating over 200 workshops to audiences of at least 4,000 people. That's our second presenter. Our next presenter is our very own Ms. Demetria Bivens. Ms. Bivens is a consultant for the Housing Authority for the Stop 6 region, and she's doing a phenomenal job. And you hear about what she has going on for our agency going forward. Ms. Demetria graduated from the Tuck School of Business at Dartmouth, where she excelled in comprehensive minority executive and advanced program. Since then, she has gone on to expand her community involvement and membership in various organizations. She's associated with a lot of boards. She's the founder and board member of the National Association of Minority Contractors, the DFW chapter, the TxDOT Leadership Committee, Regional Hispanic Contractors Association, DFW Minority Supplier Development Council, and many more. She also carries an impressive list of certifications. She has her NCTRCA, her DBE, her MBE, her SBE, and HUB, in addition to OSHA 500 certified. Now, being a procurement person, those certifications she has are really a great thing she has. So she knows her business and she has the certification to prove that. Thanks, Ms. Bivens. Next presenter will be Mr. Rodney Johnson, who is the Director of Tarrant Small Business Development, responsible for Tarrant County Market. He has an MBA from the University of Dallas. He has a Bachelor of Science from Southern University in Mechanical Engineering. He also has a certification in PMP, which is Project Management Professional. He's a Green Belt Lean Six Sigma serial entrepreneur, and he's also a small business champion. You will enjoy his presentation as well. And last but not least, let's give credit where credit is due to one of our own HUD representatives, Ms. Linda Banks. Again, everything we do is our partnership with HUD, and she's a great ambassador for HUD in our Region 6. Ms. Linda Banks right now currently is a supervisory management analyst employed with the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, the Fort Worth Regional Office, which is Region 6. Under the Office of Field Policy and Management, she serves as the regional POC for HUD Secretarial Initiative. Also the Envision Centers, and has over 20 years of combined experience in public housing, Davis, Bacon, and place-based initiatives such as Section 3 and Connect Home. Thank you again, Ms. Linda Banks. And that is our presenters for today. Next slide, please. So before we start, I want to read the Section 3 Act that started in 1968. So part of our process, and we're doing it at the Housing Authority, most PHAs as well, is about economic empowerment, as our board chairman spoke earlier. I'm gonna give the highlighted portions here. Economic opportunities generated by certain HUD financial assistance for housing be given to low and very low income persons, to businesses that provide economic opportunity for those persons. Other programs covered by HUD is those that provide housing and community development, assistance for housing, rehabilitation, housing construction, or other public construction projects. What that basically means is we have a project and a process in place where we can empower the residents and the community that we serve. And so these speakers today, all of them are entrepreneurs. They actually have their own business, et cetera. And as you meet with Mr. Johnson, people on the call, whether you're a vendor, a contractor, a resident, a property management people we have on the call as well, you'll see the difference in the various speakers we have. It's all about partnerships. We want to make sure we partner with these particular agencies to better our community and these services. They're non-for-profit organizations, so they're here to service us and help us, and we want to have this partnership going forward. So the next slide, please. So part of the theme of how to do business with the agency, we have a portal, and so the first thing you do is register your company, and you have under the website we have, that is our portal. So it's a e-procurement system. So in order to do business with us as a business, you have to be able to apply through the portal. It's a real simple process. If you have any issues, we'll talk about that on the back end of the presentation. Where you send your email to for information. We have instructions on how to register. First thing you do is create an account. You complete your company information, which is a form, and you complete your point of contact. This information in the system comes direct to your email address. You also can pick your own commodity codes based on what your services, if it's products, you can pick your commodity codes. And again, to log into the marketplace, the link is above right there. A real simple process. Again, if you have any issues with anything, we are here to help and service you to get that moving forward. Next slide, please. Again, I've read Mr. Quigley's bio. So at this time, we're gonna do a pause. Are there any questions for anybody? If not, we will turn the mic over to Mr. Cal Quigley.
All right, I'll assume that there's no questions, so let's jump right into it. Next slide, please. So first of all, thank you to the Fort Worth Housing Solutions for inviting me here to present for my old neighborhood. It's always easy to get me back if you say it's something to do with Stop 6 and empowering the individuals there. So thank you for the opportunity. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So like my introduction mentioned, I'm a fourth generation Stop 6 native. I graduated from Dunbar High School in 1996. In addition to some of the things you've already heard about me, I currently own two businesses, one dealing in community development and training programming, and one in financial literacy and technology. As a professor at TCU, my focus is on helping students learn not only how to work for someone, but what it feels like to own their own company as well. Now, I'll say business ownership is not for everyone, but I believe exposure is the key. And if we are able to expose our youth to the different avenues, then the sky becomes their limit. I often ask young people, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to have? And 9 times out of 10, they say, I want to be rich, Mr. Cal. And I quickly explain to them there's a huge difference between being wealthy and rich. And in an instant, their vocabulary is enhanced to articulate what they really want for their lives. And that has, always been my goal, to move the culture forward with innovation and moreover with information. So as I transition to talk about our 7 workshops, I will add stocks and cryptocurrency have become a cool thing to know about nowadays. If you've kept up with the news in the last, 3 to 4, 6 months, you've seen and heard stories of young people becoming instant millionaires overnight by understanding and investing and leveraging that understanding to create wealth for themselves. They're doing things like paying off debt, student loans, and buying their first homes. These things are possible for our community as well. We just need to encourage our young people to not fear what they do not know, but instead become bold and confident in their own abilities and to bet on themselves. Next slide, please. So our workshops include banking basics. We, help them start their first account, open up their first checking and savings account, help them understand the role of banks in their adult life. We talk about income and employment. In this workshop, we explain things such as taxes, 401ks, understanding what it takes to remain marketable throughout their careers. We also talk about budgeting. Here we teach students how to create a budget to manage the money that they bring in, hoping that they never have to even understand what living paycheck to paycheck, what that even means. Consumer skills and credit and debt. Statistics show that the average millennial is over $30,000 in debt before even graduating college. Now, just think about the impact that that has on one's ability to purchase a home or get married or move forward in their lives. And then there's financing higher education. So as a professor and an administrator at Tarrant County College, the cost of tuition is steadily rising for our youth, and it's forcing them to take on debt if they don't know the other options of getting those funds. We help students through our program procure over $160,000 in scholarships and grants. And in this workshop, we show students how easy it is for them to apply for those types of fundings. And then lastly, we just inked a deal with Nationwide Insurance Company to help young people procure life insurance retirement policies. These types of policies bought at a young age, as most of us know, allow a young person to create wealth not only for themselves, but for their children's children. Next slide, please. So when we talk about student incomes, it makes me think about this famous saying. It says, it's easier to help a whole man than it is to fix a broken man. We want to introduce these methods to our young Black and brown men and women so they don't have to sing the same old song that we've all heard before. You know, the one that says, if I only knew what I knew now back then, I would be in a different place. We've all heard it. So let's not let our next generation of Stop 6 youth start back at zero like we've continuously had to do. If given a chance to partner with Fort Worth Housing Solution, we'll guarantee that students will trade their first stock and understand what they are doing, break down business ownership and the perks of being their own boss. We work with students of all ages to learn about different avenues that exist in the wide world of career fields other than just the entertainment business. And let me be clear, I have nothing against those types of businesses, but after working closely with the NFL for a couple of years, I have quickly realized that the people making the money are not the ones running into one another on the field. Next slide. So as I land this plane, know that I cannot do all the things I've presented to you today alone. We have been blessed to have partnerships with some amazing companies, And as we expand, we hope to increase this list. The mission statement for my family and all of my businesses is to walk in love daily and share the blessings and guidance that God has given us with others. And that is in essence what I will always do. I thank you all for your time and attention. And at this time, I'll take any questions.
Again, everyone, if you have any questions, if you think of something later on, we'll have an opportunity to get those questions to you. I want to share something as well. We are recording this session, so we may make this available to everyone after the presentation who is logged in, etc. Okay. Thanks again.
Alvin,
Yes, ma'am.
we did have an earlier question from Sharon Covington. I hope I'm saying that right. She wanted to know, how do we obtain a listing for registered residents? And Sharon, I'm not sure if you're talking about the Fort Worth Housing Solutions e-procurement system, but Calvin, can you address that?
Yeah, so we partner also with our internal agency here, Workforce Coordinator. Ms. Lachelle is, that's her group director of the CNI grant we have. So if you send an email to us, I'll give the email address, procurement@fwhs.org, and we can partner you with them, because we do have a list. And also Ms. Bivens might can help you as well when she presents hers, because she's a big part of the process for the top 6 area, the CNI grant. If you're talking about a list of potential residents, employees, or you're talking about, I'm not sure what area you're talking about. So we can get that, clarify your question. We get you the answer you need, okay? Okay, we have our next presenter, which will be Miss Kristen Jeeves. Thanks, Kristen.
Thank you. Next slide, please. All right, so I'm super excited to be talking to you all this morning with Advising Generation Z. Created it in about 2015. I was a bully in school, and so the majority of the curriculum and the programs that we do throughout the AGZ umbrella really focus on taking that social and emotional part of the students that we work with. Now, we do have a female program called Lipstick Ready. We work in Texas, Louisiana, and Oklahoma with this program. It's ran by Mariah Martin, who was a former student of mine, which is one of the great things that I love about Advising Generation Z. We take students from 5th grade until they graduate, and the goal is that when they decide to attend a community college here in the North Texas area, that they would sign on to become mentors, and that is exactly what has happened with Mariah and with Tamara. So in our Lipstick Ready program, I know that name sounds a little funny, so I wanted to kind of give you the thought behind that. The reason why we've called it Lipstick Ready is when you think about young girls coming into their adulthood, coming into young women, we think about how often we don't guard the things that come out of our mouth. So in our program, we start off with giving them the confidence that they need, but also giving them the reality check of how they speak to one another and how they speak about themselves. And so throughout this program, whether they're in elementary, middle school, or high school, we really go through the motions of teaching them to understand how important it is to guard the words that they say out loud. And so when they graduate their senior year, we are officially calling them Lipstick Ready, because they are now ready to use the words that they've learned throughout this program and throughout their journey as being a young person now ready for the workforce. And so that's the Lipstick Ready program. And I'll show you a video at the end of my presentation today so that you guys can kind of see where that grounding comes from such an early age. Next slide, please. Our boys program is called Shepherds of Healing. And I know when we think about these names, we really ask the students. This program started a little bit later, so it started in 2018. It's ran by AJ, which is Alfred McAdory, and George Suarez. I'm really excited for the guys because we see them sometimes and we forget that men need mentoring programs as well. And so to be able to have these young professional men come into these high schools and middle schools and elementaries and really work with these boys and talk to them, their keynote line that they use all the time is that Shepherds of Healing's goal is to be committed to defying the myth that 21st century men have lost their depth. And DEP stands for dedication, empathetic, polished, trustworthy, and humble. So throughout this program, they learn each one of those stages as they move to the next grade. And it's really one of those things that we want to take the holistic approach of working with young men and making sure that we give them a space for them to talk about their emotions, but also to really help them focus on attaining goals. I think a lot of times we focus on a lot of mapping and strategic goals for women. And so it's a beautiful thing to be able to see that happen in the males group as well. Another initiative that we have that we just launched during COVID is we've started a leadership initiative called Sisters at the Center of Influence. The boy version of this program will also start in July of 2021. But the goal for this was that we realized that as we are offering all of these program services in schools and in courts in Texas and Oklahoma and Louisiana, we realized that we really need to have a diverse group of mentors, women and men who are in different industries, who are in leadership positions in their roles, so that they can kind of come back and not only talk about careers, but talk about the issues that they face on their journey. I think it's so important when this generation has been pumped with so much negative media and content on social media that they need to hear from someone that they can touch, feel, and see in the industry that they're wanting to go in so that they can see it. Because if we can show them that exposure, they can believe that they can achieve it. And so that's what this group is about. Next slide. And so our last group is we realized that after our students graduate, and it's great that they want to come back as mentors, we understand that we were going to have to come up with a program that allows them, even in their early undergraduate years, to still have that covenant, because we've kind of kept them in a bubble where, yes, they're dealing with these serious issues, and we do talk about those social and emotional aspects. But when they go to college, let's say they decide they don't want to join a sorority or fraternity, or they don't even know where to start to joining a group or in a club, especially since most of the kids that we work with are usually the ones that are getting in trouble. And so we created LEAP, and this program really does help these students move to the next level. LEAP is really working with Dallas Independent School District, as well as the community college, where our goal is to start working with TCC and Paul Quinn. This is something that we're planning to launch this summer, but our goal for LEAP is to really assist them into getting into those first time jobs. So we want to help them land their first job, and we want to utilize the women and the men from our leadership group from the slide that I just showed you from the Sisters of the Center of Influence to help guide them and to be their mentors. So the goal for AGZ is to be a lifelong program that we're with them not only in elementary, middle school, high school, but now we're taking them to undergrad and helping them get their first job. And so next slide. I wanted to kind of give you guys a snapshot of some of the work that we've done as we've talked about all of these different programs and how they work. So far, as of 2019 and leading into 2020, we have served about 7,379 students and practitioners. The way that we've done that, I just want to kind of give you that breakdown, is we've done school assemblies, we've done distant learning, which has really come in handy with COVID because mentoring is still important. And so we've kind of figured out a way to still be able to reach our kids in a group setting while still working in the confinements of COVID. We have our young professional groups where we have done some training as well as that practitioner training. And we've done some national conferences around where we have either headlined or we've been the keynote speakers and really just talking and advocating for that misguided youth and giving them the tools that they need to become the greatest leaders that we believe that they can be. And I'm sure everyone else on this call believes so as well. So you can go to the next slide. I wanted to kind of talk about some of these service offerings, just if I have any parents on the line or anyone that's really just wanting to know what are these topics that we're covering. I'm just going to lightly touch them because I really want to make sure that I get a chance to show you the video. The first one is going to be the mental business card. In this, we really talk about the way that they believe in themselves. This is our #1 go-to anytime we're working in a large group, because although the students didn't get a chance to name themselves, they do get to decide what their name means to the world and how they view themselves and how they show up to the world. And so we really focus in on that one. The second one that I think is really important to mention is healthy relationships. We talk about how resources and programs, just like calls that we're on right now, how this can really be beneficial to every part of their life. So when they get an opportunity to sit on a Zoom or to attend somewhere or even have a mentor, I ask that you just allow them I ask that you just allow them to really digest what it is that they're learning in these meetings. And so these are some of the sessions that we have. They usually last for about 6 to 8 weeks, and we can also teach them throughout the school year. Let me go to the next slide. All right, so learn more about advising Generation Z. So I think I saw something in the chat for the video. Slide, but email.
Would you like us to put the link to your video in the chat, Kristen?
Yeah, are we able to show it since it's only?
No, we really don't want to do that in Zoom. We did not optimize to show video. It's really hard in this format.
Okay. Then I will leave the floor open to you all.
Are there any questions for Kristen about her program? Kristen, you didn't really mention whether there's a cost or how this is all funded. Do you want to speak to that?
Yes, so we usually partner with either school districts, courts, and they service the program for the students, but it's usually always free for the students. We don't do one-off mentoring since we focus on group mentoring. So it's really going to be something that we would partner with the Housing Authority to do to be able to provide this service for free for tenants.
We love that word free, but it's a great service that you guys have. So appreciate that, Kristen. So if anybody would like to get her link to see her video she's referring to, you can just put that in the chat room and Ms. Sullivan will send that to you. Before we move on to move to the next presenter, I'd like to acknowledge our Senior Vice President, both Deputy Director, Ms. Sonia Barnett, and Mr. Brian Dennison. They're on the call as well. So we appreciate the support that they provide to us and the leadership that our board, our President, Mayor Margaret Lemons, have to have this event going on today. Even though we can't meet virtually, it's very important that we put this information out here to our residents and community because it's great information that you guys are getting. And we just touched the surface. So thank you guys for being on the call. Go ahead, Christian, get more questions. I'm sorry. Any more questions for Christian? If not, if you think about it down further on, you can send questions, we'll respond back to you, and we'll have their contact information. We want to flood them with emails and calls after this presentation. That's all part of the community to make sure these programs are very good that we're getting first dabs at right now that you're listening to. So we want to make sure that if we flood them with emails, calls, and partnerships going forward. Thank you. We have our next presenter, which will be Ms. Demetria Bivens. Thank you, Ms. Bivens.
Demetria, we're trying to unmute you. There you
Okay.
go.
All right. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I was saying great job, Kristen and Cal. Great presentation. Thank you, Mr. Nobles, for this opportunity to speak on this platform. Demetria Bivens, managing member of DLB Consultants. Actually, I'm the owner, founder, everything there. My company, I started my business, this business, about 7 years ago with DLB Consultants. Been in the construction industry for the last 11 years. I started my business out doing business development. I actually had to pivot from the 08-09 recession to find something to do. And I landed in the construction industry. I gave it all I had, wanted to learn everything. Since I had a business prior to that, prior to what I was getting into the construction industry, I was doing a lot of business development. That's a very strong point that I have is business development. So I found myself naturally helping smaller contractors finding opportunities. Then I went into working with a larger minority-owned contractor. And, you know, and I've just kind of been the entrepreneur that I am, kind of wanted to do something on my own again in the industry. So I started DLB Consultants, where I do business development. We do compliance consulting. You know, you heard of mention the Section 3, MWBE. You've heard Davis Bacon, certified payroll. So we do compliance consulting for those, you know, for each of those compliance rules and regulations that depending on what it is and who it is, everybody have their own different compliance what they want to do, if it's DBE goals, MBE goals, SBE goals, Section 3 goals. Every project have a goal, which is good, because if you're not any of the SBE, MBE, WBE, or hub zone, you could be a Section 3 business if you go out and certify. You can self-certify, but there are qualifications to become a Section 3 business, and you just have to make sure you can answer all those questions that HUD have on their site. I am also I started the NAMAC DFW chapter 5 years ago. We just made 5 years because I felt like we needed more. All of our contractors, we have agencies. You have the Black Contractors Association, you have the Regional Hispanic Contractors Association, you have the Asian contractors, Native American contractors, and our chapter, the NAMAC DFW, we represent all ethnicities, every color and woman. So we are kind of set ourselves apart from the other ones, because the other ones specifically kind of focus on the race, and we do it all. We have a very diverse board. I started the chapter because it's just really a passion. I do it as a nonprofit. I do not make any money off of NAMAC DFW. We have over 563 members. We probably have serviced over 7,000 contractors in the North Texas area. I also sat on the national board for about 3 years. I got off last year because I wanted to focus more on my business. And also chaired chapter development for all 20, we have 23 chapters around the country. And I was a chairman for the chapter development. So with that, I'm also a point person. When someone needs something, I don't care if it's in North Texas or if it's national. I had a call with McDonald's last week. One person was in Nashville, Tennessee. The other guy was in Orlando, Florida, but they were looking for contractors in Texas and Oklahoma area. So our chapter is going to run a pilot for them in May, the second Tuesday meeting that we're having in May. So if anybody on the call, and if you're interested in doing business with McDonald's, they're looking for trade contractors, all trades. They have their general contractor in place already. So those just kind of give you a sense of what I do and kind of how I help contractors. Now, you can go to the next slide, Kristen. I don't know what's on the slide. So we've already kind of talked about that. The next one. So what I do I'm very fortunate to be working with this Cow in Place project. I'm contracted with McCormick, Barron, Salazar. They are the developer on this project. I get to meet just a lot of people in Fort Worth. I actually had an office in Fort Worth back in 2001, right about to 2005. But circling back, I have met more people this round in Fort Worth, and I feel like Fort Worth is part of my community now. Even though I'm not from Fort Worth, I'm a native Texan, East Texas. But so when I started this project, I wanted to just drive around, get a feeling about what the Stop 6 area was. So I was driving around through the neighborhood and actually met contractors. I went to the watermelon truck during the summer. I went to the soul food restaurants. I went and hung out at the park over at Rosedale because I wanted to meet the community. And I knew for multifamily, it was going to be a different set of contractors that we were going to be looking for. So I had to do grassroots. I went and I looked at who was building a house, who was building apartment complexes. I was looking for the ones that was dealing with the sticks, the lumber, and not the steel, because most of the time that's what multifamily is. It's more stick than brick or it's the steel. So we were able to work on that, get them to go register on the HUD website. When we started, there were probably about 13 companies listed on that HUD Section 3 business registry. Now we have over 51 companies over the last 8 months that we're able to put. That's just the Arlington Fort Worth side. And we have another 60 or something over on the Dallas side. Dallas had pretty much theirs already, but Arlington Fort Worth, we didn't hardly have any businesses in that Section 3 registry. We're able to kind of talk more about Section 3. And I can't, when I talk about Section 3, I always have to say something about Mr. Donald Babers, because Mr. Babers pretty much opened my eyes when it came to Section 3. It was a passion for him, and he's no longer here. So it's my passion, and I want to carry that on for him. So I'm very advocate for Section 3 businesses just as hard as I do minority and women business enterprises. I'm very passionate about making these goals. On this Cow in Place project, the goals that we have is 25% for MWBE, 10% for Section 3 businesses, and we have 3% for non-construction. That's all tied to this project. So that means what we've been doing is we did place cards, door hangers. We took them to the, have Jonathan Morrison is on my team. Jonathan and Dunn went to about 40 something properties that's affiliated with or partnered with in some kind of way with Fort Worth Housing. We put the door hangers out there. So if any of you guys are on this call and you've seen those door hangers, you don't know what that little cue card thing is, just put your camera on that and it'll give you a form and you can complete it. And we can kind of help you when these projects start up, once the contractors are awarded the contracts, then there's going to be opportunities for Section 3 residents. And we are, Denise Babish is on this call. Denise is doing job fairs. She's coming out with the list so we can have the list. So when these job opportunities come up on the construction side, and Kristen, can you go back to the previous slide? I think and you can see here the opportunities. There's caulking, sealants, concrete, landscaping, masonry, painting, drainage, drywall, sheetrock. All of these trades are available. And the good thing about it, the bids got pushed back. They're not due until April 8th. So you still have time if you're interested in bidding on this project. It's going to be a beautiful project. And you see there, it's right there at 5400 East Rosedale in Stallcup. It's 174 senior living units with 11 two bedrooms, 48 units reserved for former Calvo Place residents, affordable rents, assistance available to qualified residents, and the projected construction is going to start July 2021 and will go through February 23. Yesterday, they did a community update and they talked about a second project coming. So if you missed this one on Cowan Place, they have the Hughes House is going to be next in the second phase. Our job on this project as a consultant is to make sure we identify, vet you out as a MWBE or Section 3 business. We want to help you in any way that we can. If you need assistance with certifications, whether you're not, because the MBE, these certifications is a process. You just don't get them overnight. You have to have your paperwork, your birth certificate, your financials, your articles of incorporation, however your business is structured. So you have to make sure you have all that paperwork. We have helped companies get certified. We've brought them into the office, or either we did a Zoom with them to show them how to walk through that process with them and answer any questions. Next slide. What do we have next? Okay, so how do you get involved? And I want to talk to you about this little lady right here. This is Broslyn. Broslyn worked on a project that I did with the city of Fort Worth and Fort Worth Housing Solutions. And there was the developer was Ahada, can't pronounce her name, Ahada. So Daniel Smith is one of the partners with Ohada. I'm not botching.
That's right, Ohala.
Ohala, thank you. So Broslyn is she's a Section 3 resident. She was working on the job. She expressed an interest of starting her own business. Actually, they wanted to hire her. And I kind of nudged them and said, you know what? Why don't you help her let's help her start a business. And she did just that. She has a Broslyn's Cleaning Services. She does residential and business. And I tell you, this young lady right here, she was at work at 6 o'clock in the morning. She even recruited people herself to come work on the project. She even fired her cousin that was working on the project because she was just so serious about what she was doing. So this here will let you know how serious that Fort Worth Housing, the developers, the city of Fort Worth, everybody, even HUD, everybody is so passionate and they want this so bad to help people become self-sufficient, because, and I'm sure Jerlinda is going to be talking more about the Section 3, but we want people like Broslyn, we want people like you to, if you have a passion, if you can do concrete, if you have a truck that you can haul off material, come see me. Let's find out a way how we can help these developers and these contractors carve out work so you guys can be a part of building your own community. So anyway, that's all I have. I'm Demetria Bivens. You can find out more about this project on the stop6cni.org website for the business opportunities as well. Kristen will be keeping that site up. We'll put our events out there. We're working with the Urban Strategies Group and the CNI division and Envision Center, coming up with some capacity building programming to help the small businesses and even the residents to get work ready. So again, Kelvin, thank you. I don't want to go over my time because I can go on and on and on about this project. So I'm just glad to be a part of this, and thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Ms. Bivens. We do have a question. I'm going to, please forgive me. Tawana Watson would like to know, do you assist us in getting our certifications or just direct us where to get the certifications?
I will assist you in getting it because it is a process. So you can reach out to me. My information is here on the screen, or you can just call me on my cell phone. I'm available, 214-597-2022. So just call me. We'll set up some time and walk you through the process. Actually, we're going to be doing a class on it as well.
Okay. Thank you. We do have another question from Latoya Love. Are there any opportunities for partnerships with staffing agencies? I am a product of Stop 6 and I'm looking to give back through my staffing company.
You know what? You need to reach out to me as well, because some of these contractors, some of them are really busy or they don't have staff. So I definitely think there's an opportunity. Matter of fact, I would like to talk to you myself. So yeah, just give me a call, please.
Great, thank you. And I have someone by the name, forgive me, Tanama. She also provided the Brazelyn Mosley stories for everyone to see.
Is that a question, or did she put the story?
She put the story out to share with everyone. So thank you for that.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you. Oh, thanks, Tamina. Oh, Tamina is on my team. Thank you.
All right, we can go to the next slide now. I think the next.
Demetria, would you repeat your phone number and I will write it down in the chat. Hold on just 1 second, Calvin, before we go on.
Sure.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
214-597-2022.
And your email is consultantsdlb?
Yes, Demetria at consultantsdlb.com.
Got it.
Yes.
Thank you, Kelvin.
Thank you, Demetria. Great presentation.
All right, thank you.
We have our next presenter, but let me speak right quick to you just heard all of our presenters, Mr. Quigley, Ms. G's, and Ms. Bivens. All of you have been so excellent. The main thing is the next person. If you're thinking about doing a business and want to do a business, this next presenter, Mr. Rodney Johnson, is over the North Tarrant County Small Business Development Corporation. So what he does is walk you from A through Z in order to be a business and how to do those things. So it's real crucial that you see these people here presenting. They are owners. They have a EIN number. They have the whole conglomerate. They're doing services, but they're a business. So the whole thing about Section 3 is part of this process, to be self-sufficient. If you think you can do what the young lady just spoke about earlier, that's a great opportunity right there, that she had vision to do what she did and helped by Ms. Bivens and the agency and all the partners involved. That's what Section 3 is about. And then when Mr. Rodney Johnson going to speak now, it's all about the people we service. And I got to give Ms. Sonia Barnett, her team, a great shout out because they do the resident side of everything. Lachelle Goodrich and Ms. Denise Babbage, they've had presentations and done different things the last couple of weeks. So you need to go on our website and keep in contact with agency people here. Look what we got going on, because they're great information they're providing. And we want to get this information to the community. And so in order to do that, we need participation. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody for the organization, the agencies, and the speakers so far. But now I'm going to introduce Mr. Rodney Johnson, who will take you from A through Z on how to do a business, and you can't beat that. So Mr. Johnson, take it away.
All right. Mr. Nobley, thank you for this opportunity for me to come on this panel with Mr. Quigley, Ms. Gies, and Ms. Bivens. It's a pleasure to be on a panel with such esteemed colleagues as them. I bring you greetings from Tarrant County College. I have the pleasure of serving as the director for the Small Business Development Centers. Let me just give you a little bit of a background about the role of the Small Business Development Centers. Our organization is a grant-funded organization, grant-funded by the United States Small Business Administration. The Small Business Administration is one of the cabinet level positions that report into President Joe Biden. So Small Business Administration is an extremely important and intricate strategy and intricate part of the infrastructure for the United States and the small business community. So much to the point that it created within the Small Business Administration 4 subsequent organizations, one being women-owned businesses, another one being veteran-owned businesses, a third being the Service Corps of Retired Executives, also known as SCORE, and then the fourth, which is the largest of those 4, being the Small Business Development Centers. The Small Business Development Centers, there are over 1,000 centers across the United States, in tribal territories, and in United States territories across the United States. And so our particular territory is in Tarrant County. So anything inside of this square of Tarrant County falls under our leadership, falls under our responsibility. Now, what are those responsibilities? We have the pleasure of helping people transition their dreams from dreams into reality. We help people go from being an employee to being perhaps a solopreneur, and hopefully even going on to being an entrepreneur and eventually even becoming a serialpreneur. You can go to the next slide. One of the things that we talk about as a small business development center is that we absolutely want to have an impact to the Tarrant County economy. And how do we do that? How can we best do that? We can best do that by helping entrepreneurs become successful and with their businesses. Our focus has been in 3 areas, and one of those areas has really been prominent this last year as we've come through this pandemic. But we help people start their businesses. We help people grow their businesses. And over the course of the last 12 to 14 months, we've focused on helping people sustain their businesses. And we can talk about that in a little at another time, but right now, today's session is about starting and growing. So how do we do that? Well, we can go to the next slide, please. There are several things that we do in order to help people be successful. First of all, we start off by helping you verbalize and then document what your business plan is. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to be? I think Mr. Quigley said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And so not thinking in terms of physical age, but thinking in terms of professional development. What do you want to be when you grow up? You know, if you want to be a business owner, then as Ms. Bivens has so eloquently pointed out, as Ms. Gies has demonstrated through her multiple opportunities, and as Mr. Quigley has shared with you as well, the opportunities are out there. Most of the people are challenged with finding out what is step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. What are the activities that I need to do in order to, number 1, transition from being a dream into being a reality? And what check marks do I need to check off? And once I do have a business established, okay, then what? How do I go procure my customers? How do I go and advertise to the world? How do I go and create the systems, the tools, the processes that allow me to not only just feel like a business, but to be viewed as a business from the other side? One of the things Ms. Bivens did that I hope you guys didn't miss, and that is that as part of her resume, she talked about a number of certifications that she's acquired over the years. Each one of those certifications add legitimacy to your business. It adds legitimacy to the offering that you're bringing to the table. So whatever industry you're in, you want the people on the other side of the table to know that you're qualified to be there, that you have prepared to be there, that you have the skills to be there, that you have the sustainability to be there, and that you have a right to be there. And so how do you do that? Well, we help make sure that you understand the very complex parts of owning a business. I've put it in two ways in my lifetime. And a lot of times that this is not what's on the slide, so this is slightly off the table, but let me just tell you, in every business, there's what you call the front end and the back end, the front of the house and the back of the house. Front of the house typically deals with sales, typically deals with going out and marketing, typically deals with websites. The back end of the house is going to deal with invoices, it's going to deal with payroll, it's going to deal with setting up customer accounts, it's going to deal with your banking, it's going to deal with your accounting, it's going to deal with your bookkeeping, your inventory, your warehousing, your human resources. All of those skill sets is what you need as an entrepreneur. One of the things that a lot of people don't understand, and that is that to be an entrepreneur means that you're going to be lifting a very heavy load. One of the things that we do know is that an entrepreneur wears a lot of hats. I think when I know, I'm not going to say I think, I know that when I had my business, one of the things that I said was that I was the chief cook and bottle washer. Because as a business owner, you may have to do everything from collecting the checks, to paying the checks, to cleaning the bathroom, to cleaning the kitchen. But the thing about it is that you have to have the attitude of the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur's job is to solve a problem that has not been solved. So let me tell you about Section 3 and why we're here. There is a problem. The problem has been identified. The problem that's been identified is that we have a great opportunity with the Cohen Place, as well as other housing opportunities and projects that's going on. The problem is that there's not a sufficient number of qualified vendors, a sufficient number of people wanting to assist with this project. Hence, that's what we call an opportunity. So if you want to move from observing the problem to being a solution of the problem, that's where the SBDC comes in. We will help you create a vision. We will help you create a business plan. We will even help you create a marketing plan. We'll help you create a strategy document. And we'll even introduce you to lenders. We'll introduce you to other critical network partners. And I want you to know that anytime you go through being an entrepreneur, what you need to understand is that this is not a journey you have to walk by yourself. Partner with the SBDC, partner with Ms. Bivens, partner with Ms. G's or Mr. Quigley. We will all take you under our wings. We will all help walk with you hand in hand so that you can help Mr. Nobley fulfill the responsibilities he has to the city of Fort Worth or to Tarrant County and the Cohen Place, because it's important. It's important for our community. It's important for the long-term sustainability. We can help you with all of the areas that are listed here on this slide in front of you, but the only way we really can help you is for you to get started. So call us. If you go to the next slide, if you'll call us, you can contact us at the tarrantsbdc.org. And we're located, we have 5 different locations. One of our locations, we just opened up 2 months ago over at the Tarrant County Opportunity Center over in Stop 6. So we're local. We're vested in this. Our other location is that our headquarters is located on Rosedale. We also have a North Richland Hills, and we also are over at the Arlington Chamber of Commerce and Texas Workforce. So we are out in the communities where our customers are coming from. If you allow us the opportunity, we'll be happy to serve you. Phone number where you can reach us at is 817-515-2600. That's 817-515-2600. The first step the first step that you should take is to make the decision that you want to make a change in your life, and we will help you from that point forward. Are there any questions?
We do have one question from Ms. Covington. I am in Dallas County, but a vendor in Tarrant County. May I attend your SBDC?
Okay, so the territory rules are that you either live in Tarrant County or you have a business in Tarrant County in order to receive support from the Tarrant SBDC. However, with 1,000 service centers around the country, you can be in Dallas County, and I can introduce you to the Dallas County SBDC and get you all the services and support that you need in order to fulfill whatever goals that you may have. So if you live and work live or work in Tarrant County, come see me. If not, come see me, and I will connect you personally with the right resources in your territory.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions?
As of right now, that's about it.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Mr. Johnston. Again, we want everybody to understand participation is key, and at the end of the day, we can't do anything without the people we service, which is you guys, residents, contractors, employees, etc. So again, we want to ask everybody to participate, and again, flood their phones, flood their emails. You want to contact us and we can connect you with them, with everybody. It's not a problem. We want to make sure communication is getting out there to everybody, so everybody has the information and use the resources that's out here for us to use. With that being said, we will have the next slide, please.
Give me one moment, Kelvin.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No
we
problem.
have one other person who submitted a question. Edward Fenoy, does SBDC work with independent business people? And that's from Mr. Johnson. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, his contact information is there. Give him a call, email, etc. Leave no stone unturned. We're going to make sure that people get the resources they need to be successful. Are there any more questions? You can do the next slide if you don't mind. All right, now we have the last presenter for the day, which is very important for us. As you heard all the other presenters before, they're all business owners. Now we have other opportunities that Ms. Banks is going to tell you about for HUD initiative. So again, we want to thank everybody so far. And at this point, we'll introduce and turn it over to Ms. Linda Banks.
Thank you, Kelvin. Can you all hear me? Okay, great. Thank you to the Fort Worth Housing Solution. I really enjoy and appreciate these type of outreach events to the public, to businesses. So this is perfectly aligned to what HUD's Section 3 outreach, and it is, I think Calvin mentioned, it's a provision of the law. So I just wanted to take some time. I'm not going to take a whole lot of time because there is the opportunity portal as well as the business registry that Demetria spoke of. And I want to kind of pause right there for a minute just to kind of give acknowledgement to Demetria. I have been monitoring the Section 3 business registry, and I have you now to thank. I did not know. I saw that the numbers were going up. And so I really, really do appreciate what you have been doing on the ground there and increasing those business registry numbers. So the Office of Field Policy and Management is the office in which I reside in for HUD. And so to that regard, we have this fiscal year, so our fiscal year starts October 1, that we have been given the opportunity to further the Section 3 opportunity portals, business registry portals, to just do general outreach to residents, grantees, businesses, contractors, all of those sort of things that we want to be able to be connected and touching the community as a whole. So I want to just to say thank you, Demetria, for that, because we do have goals locally. And I think in part, a lot of your legwork and groundwork there has put us at the level where we are likely reaching our goal for within the Fort Worth Regional Office. So again, thank you. I also want to thank you again for mentioning Don Babers, C. Donald Babers. He was very instrumental to HUD. All you had to say is Don, and people knew throughout HUD who you were talking about when it was around the Section 3 initiative, anything related to Section 3, and you connect Don or Don Babers' name throughout the country, not just regionally, but throughout the country. He was very, very passionate about furthering the goals of the department as it relates to Section 3. So again, I'd like to thank you again for acknowledging that you had that relationship with Don and that you're taking it as a personal mission upon yourself to continue what he shared with you. So again, thank you for mentioning Don Babers. And lastly, Miss Demetria has hit on a number of different aspects within her presentation. And I just wanted to also highlight the young lady, Miss Mosley, that was part of her highlight, I guess, if I could call it that, success story, if you want to call it that as well. I appreciate, again, you highlighting this person. So to know that from where she has risen up to, and it sounds like a very short amount of time, acknowledgements to her accomplishments and her further future accomplishments. I can see that she has a lot of passion in what she wants to do in terms of being an entrepreneur. So from that standpoint, HUD also recognized that and has featured her at our national newsletter. So it's not, it's when you see those kinds of great success stories, HUD wants to be a part of that. We want to share with all the rest of the HUD regional offices, as well as the field offices, as well, and even more importantly, a lot of times, the national offices, that there are success stories out there. And to be able to highlight that back home here in Fort Worth, that is what we like to do. So again, thank you so much for bringing Miss Mosley to the forefront and to helping to guide her career and her pathway within entrepreneurship. So thank you all for what you all have done. I look forward to continuing this partnership. I see it with Fort Worth Housing Solution as a partnership, and we are here to assist and to help. So with that, a lot of times people do not know what Section 3 is. And as you probably know, likely know, if you don't, the government is filled with acronyms and streamlining phrases and so forth to make it easier to navigate and to explain. So essentially, Section 3, I like to call it a workforce development. And from that crosses and transcends throughout business community. Most businesses know Section 3, not Section 3, but what a workforce development. Those words they transcend. So when you hear Section 3, think of workforce development. And from that standpoint, we won't, because Section 3 is in fact a terminology only known to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. So when you see Section 3, think workforce development. I like to say that. So let's see, next slide, please. All right, so I'm going to try and take a little bit of time, but not too much time. I'm kind of conscious of the time, but there are two opportunities in which we try to promote within the business community, resident community, grantees is the Section 3 Opportunity Portal, as well as the business registry that Ms. Bivens spoke on. I would like to say that this opportunity portal was created, I think about 2015. And from 2000, over the last 5 years or so, we have really wanted to see progress in this area from the grantees. So it is our goal this year to really draw people to the opportunity portal. All sorts of the general public in general, but mainly to the HUD grantees such as Fort Worth Housing Solution and their sub-grantees, businesses that they do business with, and as well as residents. So the opportunity portal, Section 3 Opportunity Portal, next slide, please. And you can pretty much read this for yourself, but in general, it's a matching. The whole intent of the Section 3 Opportunity Portal is to take residents that are within the area of where the HUD dollars are being spent. I think Mr. Nobles mentioned the Choice Neighborhood Grant and that they were awarded that a year or so ago. But there are significant HUD dollars, not only in the Choice Neighborhood Initiative Grant, CNI, you'll hear it, but in other formula funded opportunities that come to housing authorities, that come to cities, that come to counties, that you may not even be aware how much HUD pours into funding to help those local communities as well as some of the HUD grantees and so forth. So it's an opportunity we have to look at from the standpoint of HUD's dollars being placed into communities, and what is the back end of that? So many dollars, millions of dollars, billions by now, have been placed into communities throughout the country. So where and how can we help with those that live within the community to benefit from those dollars that have been placed? So Opportunity Portal is just that. It brings it gives the opportunity for residents who reside around the area of the project, in this case, Stop 6, and the businesses that the Fort Worth Housing Solution and the city are looking to develop the site, how that we can bring those two together and bring opportunity, if you will, through job opportunities, as well as contracting opportunities for those Section 3 businesses. There is an authentication process. So that's the very first step that you go through. And it's very secure. It's through the General Services Administration login.gov authentication service. And once you create that login, you will then have the opportunity to log into the opportunity portal. So next slide, please. As you see, you're able, once you get into the login.gov, you're able to create your resident profile or your business profile. But you have to select one of those directions in which you're wanting to create your profile within the opportunity portal. If you want to search, you don't search for opportunities, contract opportunities, you do not need to sign into the login.gov. However, if you want to market your skill set, for example, if you are a resident within a certain geographical area of the project, then you would want to log in perhaps as a resident and see what opportunities are out there in terms of jobs or training. Sometimes that gets overlooked, but jobs or training that is out there. And then on the flip side of that, or the other side of that, is promoting the businesses to create those job opportunities and post them. That's very important. It's the posting of whatever opportunities are out there, and the two shall hopefully marry up and it'd be a long relationship. You would choose your role, as I said, and then edit your resident profile and search. And that's what we want the residents to be able to have a long list of searchable opportunities. Next slide, please. I'm sorry, go back. So at this time, if you can queue up, Kristen, that would be helpful. I'm not going to go through this for all the different screens. I believe Fort Worth Housing Solution has the guide. And with having the guide, they should be able to share that out to you all, so you at your leisure can go through the various steps. So this screen here essentially is the home page. And at the very bottom, I think it's cut off, perhaps at the bottom there, but there is the sign in, and that's where you would go in. Uh-oh. While she's queuing that up into the sign in, I just wanted to mention to you that during the login process, you know, you have to really follow the step by step because there are, like I said, it's a two-step authentication process. And so if you have a smartphone or other sorts of devices that will give you that that two-step authentication process, and it is really for the protection of anybody signing in, that we want to be able to, the government wants to be able to ensure that who is signing in is actually who that person is. So at this point, what I like to do, Kristen, this is fine. The portal that you are in, I believe, is in you're participating as an employer / contractor, or you're participating as an employer that wants to seek residents. And as you can see on the screen, it says prior approval is required for that. So let's see. Let's just hit the link there that says participating as an employer contractor to post job training and contracting opportunities. So this is where you, as a business, would upload and post, add a new job opportunity. This is where the resident is going to be able to see what you have available. So you would enter all of your pertinent information. There's an autofill field there, and you would just go through and enter all that. If once you do the autofill, obviously it will autofill each time that you want to post. But the main thing is that, thank you for going through those steps. I appreciate that. You'll see the various types of, it pre-populates a lot of different occupations and industries for you. And if there's not something available, I believe there's an other option as well. But for the most part, you'll see the required steps. Next, job opportunity that you would post out. I'm sorry, I had something that's, hold on one second, there we go. I had an email that was popping across, I apologize. So just walking through the steps, and you know, we're not gonna take all the time, but it's very, very user-friendly, I would say. If you have any kind of questions, as you can see, they're posting in information about an electrician, for example. And you can drop in the URL for that person to go directly to learn more about that position, the starting date, the date that the posting will expire, all of those sorts of basic things that you often see in the monster.com or some of these other job search availabilities out there. This opportunity portal, I'm sorry, won't allow you to go through unless you put in all the required fields. But I just wanted to just kind of show you that you all that are attending, that it is really user-friendly, and we are really, really trying to promote that residents, businesses, especially those Section 3 businesses that do business with the Fort Worth Housing Solution, that you utilize this as a means to matching up and bring and enticing, if you will, residents, that they can see that there are the opportunities out there, that they are looking forward to doing business with some of the businesses that Fort Worth Housing Solution. And ultimately, the whole goal is to hopefully utilize these portals and that will help uplift different residents into self-sufficiency. So that's what we at the HUD is really looking to do, and to help create opportunities to help uplift residents that are within the community of the where the project is. So are there any questions? I know that I've kind of they will, I believe Fort Worth Housing Solution will be providing the guide. But ultimately, I just wanted to just share with you all that these portals are out there and that you take advantage of them.
Thank you, Linda. We do have a question, another question from Edward. Does your program assist in partnership with HUD's RAD program?
I'm not exactly sure the depth of that question, and I would ask that you give me a call. I don't know if my information is, my phone number was placed up there, but I'll put it out there to you right quick. And please give me a call and I can go into a little bit more, ask a little bit more questions about when you speak about the RAD program. But my phone number is 817-978-5619. And I would look forward to receiving your call.
Okay, if you could repeat that number, please.
Absolutely. 817-978-5619.
Okay, thank you. And we'll also get that posted in the chat for everyone. We
Sure.
only have a few more minutes. Edward did post another question. As a venture capitalist, does your program provide location of land or buildings that are in the opportunity zone, qualified census tract, and difficult development areas?
Okay, so you thank you for that question. And it's kind of an overlay of some of the other what we call place-based initiatives. So the opportunity zone is not the area that I generally speak to. We do have a person who is more available. Actually, he's getting ready to go out on military duty for a while. His name is Ty Petty, T-Y Petty, P-E-T-T-Y. And again, send that question to me, because Ty, this is his last week for a while, and I need to get to you the point of contact that will be serving in his place while he's out. So again, please just give me a call regarding the opportunity zone, and I will get you pointed to the right person on that.
Linda, would you please just mention what this separate URL is for the HUD Section 3 Business Registry?
Oh yeah, I think Demetria covered it a little bit there, but essentially it's a listing of firms and companies and that you self-certify yourself. So there are, I think, 3 or 4 basic questions that will take you through to ensure that you are a Section 3 business. So some of the metrics that are reported here will be changing in accordance with the new rule. So let me, and I didn't talk to this a whole lot, but within the opportunity, let me step back. The new rule became effective November 30th, 2020. So just a few months ago. And within that new rule, some of the metrics and measurements for Section 3 reporting change. So prior to the new rule, the reporting metrics was the number of new hires brought on as a result of the HUD funded activity. Now the metric will be based on labor hours that are brought forward. So I just wanted to kind of mention that to you all. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time going through the new rule, what was then and what is now. But from a Section 3 business, you would go through, drill down to, yeah, there you go, Dallas. It's based, oh no, the next one, I'm sorry, there's probably a Dallas County in Maryland or somewhere. You have to be, yeah, that one there. Oh, that was Missouri, okay. And you'd hit search, there you go. And this is what Demetria was speaking of, the number of businesses that populate. I think this is in Dallas region. I think there may be and it's based on the MSA. So
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, Kristen,
can
do
see
the
if they
one
were
for
staring,
Fort
yeah.
Worth. Yeah, go to
Yeah.
Fort Worth, Arlington.
Yeah,
There it is, that one.
there we go. And you don't need to register for this. This is available to the public, but there you go. That's the listing that Demetria is speaking of. And at the beginning of the year, 6 months ago, that listing was probably a third of what we see now. And so it has grown, and it's grown as a, in fact, I see one that I know I helped him to walk him through. There's Miss Braceland.
Yes.
Cleaning service. And so, Demetria and others I know are available, but Demetria has the part of her service with the Fort Worth Housing Solution is to help bring people to this so that others can see you're out there, you're exposed, you're putting yourself out there, wanting to have partnerships with other businesses. So
Okay,
this
I'm
terrific.
sorry, Linda. Real quick,
Yeah.
because we only have a few more minutes.
Yeah.
Jaquita Brown just dropped a question in. Is there a time frame for when the business registry will be updated to comply with the new rule?
Okay. I hate to say call me, but you make a good question. That is a very, very good question. Our headquarters office in Washington, D.C. is currently in the midst of making those edits in these portals so that they can be compliant with the new rule. So I do not know the time frame. I do know that July 1 becomes the effective date for the beginning of reporting period. Not to say that that's the date that a report is due, but that becomes the start of the reporting period. So I cannot speak in terms of the timeline in which they will have those portals updated, but it would be my imagination and guess that they would have those up before July 1. But I cannot say for certain. And I would say that if you want to ask that question, you can ask that question. I believe it is section 3 at HUD.gov that will, you can put that question out there, and somebody in Washington, D.C. are manning those inquiries that come in, and perhaps can give you more of a specific timeline as to when those updates will occur.
Yes, Linda, that's correct, because I have another colleague within the industry. We've been all kind of monitoring that part of it, and it's still in progress. So it's not an official time, but they're working on it, is what we got. So, and it's because everybody across the country had to do the same thing. So that's what I was told recently. That's FYI.
Thank you so much, Kelvin. Well, thank you. That ends my presentation. I apologize if I've gone over, but there's so much information from everybody, and I just look forward to these long-lasting partnerships with Fort Worth Housing Solution as well as the presenters.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. I guess I can end now by the closing remarks, but I would like to give a special shout out and special thanks to our super producers, Ms. Kristen Sullivan. She's spearheaded this project and working with the team to get this PowerPoint together and everybody's slides together. Also, Ms. Janine Charles and Ms. Ijima, Mrs. IJ from my team. Great job, everybody. Thank you guys for your help behind the scenes. With that being said, we don't want to hold too much. I just want to make a few final comments. As you see, there are a lot of information that you presented today, but the key is using the information. If you was on the call today, you think of somebody, a friend, family member, or that you think of who might be interested, we have taped this particular session and we'll provide it to everyone after the presentation. At some point when Kristen finalize everything. We want to, again, flood everybody's phone number, our emails, with you guys responding to us so we can give these partners your information, and you can work with them and we can work with us, our residents, our community. The only way they're going to do good is they get participation. And so I would inquire everybody to actually be able to utilize the email addresses, email them directly, us directly, My email address is listed right there for my team, myself. Anything you provide to us with them, we'll get that to them to assist you with your issues, your problems, or your want to start a business. You want to go to the opportunity portal. There's so much information that we inundated to with today, but I think it was necessary. And with that being said, I definitely appreciate all these speakers. You did a great job. Thank you for your partnership. This is not a one-time thing. We'll partner with you guys down the road. I just want to present the agency and the community with you guys right now in the presentation with the agency. Even though we can't be physically together, technology is wonderful to be able us to meet like this. But as we come together down the road, we're able to come back together. You guys will be a part of that process as well. Again, I would like to thank everybody that has participated. Thank you to the participants who still signed in. Any information you need, our email address is listed right there. Again, everybody on the presentation will also be able to get this particular slide. And if you have anybody who actually that you think of to benefit from this session today, please provide it to them, and we can go from there. And thank you all again. Does anybody have any last comments they want to say?
Looks like you guys answered all the questions.
Well, again, thanks to our board members that's on the call, our senior VPs that's on the call, our president, Mayor Margaret Lemons, who spearheads our process to make us be able to do what we do as an agency and give us the guidance and leniency to do our jobs to the highest of our ability, and to partner with people like yourself. Thanks, Ms. Banks from HUD and your HUD office, what you guys do for us. There's a lot of information that they have because she's over the Envision Centers. I think Ms. Suzanne Richardson is a part of that process with the agency as well. Again, we have our workforce coordinator, Denise Babichet and Lachelle Goodrich. They're part of our community as well for the agency here with the CNI side. So reach out to us, and they do a lot of presentations as well. So I would want to tell people that's on the call now, if you want to get information, just keep in contact with our website, because Kristen does a good job with our information on our website and our Facebook page, LinkedIn page, and Twitter. So Kristen, can you speak to that right quick? So give everybody information, how they can get the information with social media, the Housing Authority, please.
Absolutely. Thank you, Calvin. Our largest audience is on Facebook. You can find us at it's Fort Worth Housing Solutions, and we have a very large audience for the Stop 6 Choice Neighborhood Initiative on Facebook. We're also on Twitter and LinkedIn. And then our main website is FWHS.org.
Thank you so much. I think we are a couple minutes over our time. So I would like to thank everybody once again and thank everybody. We're going to end now. Any questions you have, submit it to the email address listed. And we thanks again. Thank you, everybody.